So now we're going back to these guys that have a myelin sheath. And I've said that if they didn't have it, this would just go along in a domino effect. That's called continuous conduction, because there's just continuous excitation of the next area of the cell. Continuous conduction. However, when there is a myelin sheath, it doesn't do that. It goes along the area of the axon that has no myelin, but then it literally leaps like this. So conduction along an axon that is myelinated is much more rapid, because myelin is a rapid conductor of electrical signals. That sort of conduction, where it leaps like that, is called saltatory conduction. It's called saltatory conduction after the Latin word saltare, not Voltaire, saltare, which means to leap. To leap. So literally, this signal comes along here and then leaps like this, and it's much more rapid. Some of these axons can be up to 2 meters long, and it can get there in a nanosecond. So you get the idea of how fast this is. This is not somebody ambling along to the next light. This is bang. And these signals are occurring at massive volumes every single moment. Now, I mentioned that as a signal passes, the membrane is being prepared for the next signal. Now, this is a really important time and an important concept. That time between when a signal has passed, between when an action potential has passed along the membrane and when it is repolarized and once again ready to take a new signal, that time, that period of time, is called the refractory period. The refractory period. And the refractory period, again, is basically the recovery time for the membrane. The time that it takes for the membrane to be restored to a state where it can take another action potential. And the refractory period is important for us, because I can come along here to Soraya and go like that on her shoulder. I've used a part of my body, the end of my finger, to come into physical contact with a part of her body. And she can tell, even if she's got her eyes closed, she can tell. She can tell that she's been touched on her shoulder. However, close your eyes for me, Soraya. I can come along, I can use the same part of my body, the end of this finger, on the same part of her body, her shoulder. And now, what was different between the first and the second?
Nothing different.
Okay, try again. Close eyes. That's the first one.
I heard the second one is harder.
Second one's a lot harder, right? Now, how can she tell? She didn't see. Remember, we've already said that there's an all or none law. Either the signal goes or it doesn't. So how can her body tell that the second one was harder?
The pressure. Stimulus.
It's the amount of stimulus, the amount of pressure. The pressure is greater. There is more stimulus, so there are more signals sent. So therefore, the refractory period becomes shorter. So her brain gets more signals and she goes, uh-oh, that's harder. Even though each one is only exactly the same amplitude as it was before.